guys are used to me. Something's different at least. Guys, for me, it's every time I come to the belt promotions, I feel a lot of pressure. Maybe it's because I'm not here on a daily basis anymore, but also because these schools have shaped me to a great extent into the instructor I've become. Each one of you guys, and we built this team together, and I am a product of Gracie Barra, but I'm also a product of GB San Clemente and GB Dana Point. And you guys keep telling me about how much impact some of the messages that I deliver to you through end of class messages, how important they were for you. But I kind of ran out of messages. So when I come here, I'm like, hey, what am I going to talk about? I feel like I taught everything already. And at the same time, I know, and those of you that have been training for long enough, that some of the most important things we're going to learn in our lives is not like something you're going to learn and understand, you're going to depart away from it. Oh, I already know that thing, let me go to the next. Oh, I already know that thing, let me go to the next. I know that thing, let me go to the next. In reality, just like a hip escape, it's like a bridge, it's like a basic armbar. Those are fundamental ideas and fundamental pieces of knowledge that have allowed us to become better fighters, and if we depart away from them, we're getting worse, not better. And every smart student and every smart teacher understand that redundancy is a very, very important, or if not the best way of learning, the best way of getting better. We just got to make sure that every time we go around, we circle back to the same thing, is that we're better. And I already touched on that a few black belt promotions ago. We shouldn't feel like we're circling back into things. Oh, I've seen it again, and it's boring. We should feel like this is a spiral, right? And every time we circle back to that idea, that concept, that piece of information, knowledge that has allowed us to be more and accomplish more, we should be better. We should be able to make better use of it. So it's kind of that mindset that allows me to bring back some of the ideas we already discussed, hopefully with a little bit more wisdom with it. Because I'm definitely keep putting myself on very tough positions purposely, so I can continue to grow, right? I seem to be seeking adversity instead of comfort in my life. Every time I come back to San Clemente and Dana Point, it's very difficult for me because, you know, I found this place 10 years ago, and it really connected with it. And yet, there's too much abundance, and life is too good here, and I keep seeking more challenges. And I don't think you guys do anything wrong with staying here. I'm just crazy that way, you know. So now I'm in the heat of Arizona, trying to figure things out over there. But I want to talk about this idea of abundancy and putting yourselves through sacrifice, because for me, that is the fundamental reason why Jiu-Jitsu matters. It has nothing to do with the techniques per se, the tournaments. It has to do with us who live on a very wealthy society, who have very comfortable lives, no matter the situation that you are in right now, how much money you have in a bank account. The reality of it is, if you compare yourselves to people that we know in Brazil or people from other places in the world, you guys are very rich, financially, socially, in all senses. This is an amazing place to live. But that's not necessarily a good thing. And that's what I want to talk about. Everything that we do is related around the topic of martial arts, but we do make a point of going beyond the fighting side of things. And perhaps the best place to start is on the meaning of word martial arts. You guys have never thought about it, but martial arts means the art of war. Yes? And it starts in the 1800s, when a very smart gentleman, a Jiu-Jitsu practitioner from Japan, his name is Jigoro Kano, he came out with the idea for the first time that people are not just in war against somebody else, right? Unless you are actually in the battlefield and you're going to war for your country like many of the Marines do. In reality of it is, we don't go to war against other people. We're not learning martial arts to go to war with our training partner on the mats. We're not opposing each other, right? We go to war against who? We go to war against ourselves. Every single day when we step on these mats, when we put these gis and we tie our belts, we have to embrace our best and play at our best, because we decide to dedicate 1 hour, 2 hours of that day to go into war against ourselves. And our training partner is a tool, is going to present us with so many different obstacles and dilemmas. Some of them are physical, some of them are technical, some of them are emotional. And we got to put ourselves in a position to overcome them. So we are going to war against ourselves. So Jigoro Kanolia realized that, and he created an educational system around it. He used Jiu-Jitsu to batter people. So for the first time in history, somebody's like, oh, okay, so I'm not just going to train people to go to war. Really, I'm going to use this to help people become better people. Any person in a civilized society. Jigoro Kano eventually creates what we understand now as being judo, right? And he made a mistake. There is a lot of debate about that. Jim, Dave, and I could go about that forever. He made a mistake when he decided to remove Newaza, which is ground jiu-jitsu from judo, right? And then eventually he seeds of the techniques that he's created. One of his students went to Brazil and introduced jiu-jitsu. It wasn't judo back then, to Carlos Gracie Sr. and eventually became Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, came back to America. The rest of the story most of you guys are familiar with the development of the UFC, and the history continues. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that Jiu-Jitsu is not the art of war against other people. Jiu-Jitsu is the art of war against ourselves, against our weaknesses, against our vices. Every day we come here with an understanding that we have to improve towards a better version of ourselves. And that's not something that I taught you or somebody taught you. It's something that keeps you awake at night. When you cannot sleep at night, it's because deep inside you fear tomorrow is going to be worse than today, or deep inside you know that there's something you can do for tomorrow to be better than today. In all senses, financially, physically, emotionally, whatever that is. And Jiu-Jitsu is a tool to help you get there. And I can say with every single word and know that I'm speaking the truth, because that's what it did to me. Jiu-Jitsu has made me who I am, and I'm much better because of it. Therefore, we step on the match to help you experience the same thing. Jiu-Jitsu is here to make us better. Now, why does Jiu-Jitsu make us better? Because this hard is tough as hell. Yes, you will get hurt. Yes, ladies, you're going to get a bunch of bruises in your body. Guys, a little bit. Right? Yes, people are going to look at you grappling on the floor, and a lot of people here don't train. They're going to say, like, what are these people doing? You know, Nietzsche said that those people that are not listening to the song thought that the people that were dancing were crazy. Right? And we are crazy because we're listening to a certain song that most people cannot listen. But we're not here to do chokes and arm bars. Those are tools to make us better people. We decided that Jiu-Jitsu is going to be one of the channels, one of the ways that it's going to make us better. You know, I was this morning I was thinking about what I was going to say, and I came across this idea or this quote that says something like this. Tough people create good times. They have to work really hard, and we have to have very, very tough to create good times. In all senses, as a nation, as a family, as a community. Tough people, the people who are strong, men and women, they're the ones that create the good times through hard work and good character. But good times create what? Weak people. Times of abundance, where everything comes easy, makes, on average, good people. It's a good argument for us to accept, in general, right? And what is it that weak people create? Bad times. Weak people overspend, weak people have character flaws, weak people are not doing their best to build a nation, or to build a community, or to build a family, or to build a jiu-jitsu team, right? And what is it that bad times does? Creates tough people, right? The toughest people that I know in my life, they're the ones that have been through the worst times in their lives. I don't know about any other exceptions, so I'm speaking from purely my empirical observation of life. And what is it that tough people do? The tough people that have been created by tough times, they create good times. And that has been a generalization of how humanity has developed from being cavemen all the way up to modern society that we live in. That's a cycle that keeps going over and over and over in every scale, with society, with the global society as a whole, with our families, right? It runs in our families. I don't know if you guys have that saying here in America, but it's very common in Brazil. The grandparent is a millionaire. He's rich in all senses, right? You don't become a millionaire if you're not like a fully developed human being, as far as I know, right? And then the kids are rich, and then the grandkids are poor. Why? Because times of abundance rotten our character, right? Another way of saying it, one of the economic side of things is, I'm going to be a soldier so my kids can be farmers and my grandkids can be artists, right? So we have to think about those things. And what is the role that Jiu-Jitsu plays in it? I'm not saying that Jiu-Jitsu is going to totally change the world. Jiu-Jitsu certainly changed my world, and I'm going to change as many worlds as I can, because Jiu-Jitsu operates right in that cycle that I'm describing to you. Jiu-Jitsu, in my opinion, addresses one of the most fundamental paradoxes of human existence, which is what I'm describing to you right now. We live perhaps in one of the most amazing towns or communities there is to live, right? Here's another overgeneralization to use since I'm doing many today. What's the best country to live in the world? Anybody answer me? If I say it's France, I'm gonna be like, France is nice, but it's the United States of America. And no matter what people say, this is still a great country, at least from where I come from. And you guys have a different perspective because you guys have a different background. But where I come from, this is still a great country. The best state to live in the United States, as far as I know, I moved to New Jersey first. And I'm Arizona. Every single person in Arizona wants to be in California. So where do you come from? It's like South California. Like, what? What are you doing here? So California is like perhaps the best place. And then, what is the best place in California? Most people say, unless you're like a tech person, most people say Orange County, right? And then what's the best place in Orange County? San Clemente. So you guys are in the best place in the world, right? A place of abundance. You guys can walk to the beach. You don't really have a summer or a winter. Everybody's nice and friendly. And that, if you don't watch out, can be a bad thing. It can be the very thing that's gonna make you or your kids not grow into the best person they can be. That's probably why we're having a lot of drug problems here. These kids don't know how good they have. Ship them to Brazil, to Rio de Janeiro, the amount of violence they have. More people die in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, from crime than they die in Afghanistan. Ship them to Brazil for a few weeks and let them see so they can appreciate what they have, right? Jiu-Jitsu operates right there. Why? That's the point that I wanted to make. Jiu-Jitsu creates or simulates an environment of scarcity. And if we purposely put ourselves through hell on a very friendly way. I'll choke you, but I'll smile right after. And what's the best about it, I'll let it go once you tap, right? I'll get you in an arm bar, but as soon as you tap, I'm gonna say, hey man, let me show you what I did. Yes? When you go to war, it's not like that. You get shot and you die. Here you go to war and they have an opportunity to learn from each other and make each other better. And that's what we're doing here, people. So for those of you that are getting close to your black belt, and the professors, soon to be professors, John and Brent, you guys are getting your black belts today. Remember that that's what we do here. We come here to make each other better. We don't go after this black belt because we want the status of a black belt. If that's your motivation, you want to walk around and say, oh, I'm a Jiu-Jitsu black belt. When the day you get it, you no longer have a motivation. And then you're going to look like Kung Fu Panda in a few years. That's nonsense. You're going to grow into the opposite of what brought you here. So you guys are going to get your black belt. That's going to come with a lot of responsibility. First, responsibility towards yourself. Because you can't serve others unless you are serving yourself. And I'm not saying that you have to be selfish. I'm saying that for you to be able to help your teammates, to teach the students, for you to be able to help your family, for you to be able to continue to stay physically, mentally, and spiritually sharp, you have to continue to train. And not just train, come here, train a little bit, practice that half guard that you've been getting people over and over and over again, and sit on the side. Training, the very definition of training, means that you challenge yourself and you're getting better. I know of a lot of black belts, and that upsets me more than that. Very few other things upset me more than that. Than a black belt that stops training. Because it showed my time with this guy was a waste of time. Because he didn't understand a word of what I said. Or any other professors. Now once you get your black belt, you get your butt on the mats and you keep training. And you don't hide behind anything. Oh, but you have these kids, you have this talent, young talent from Indiana Point. Yeah, man, they'll come here, probably 5 years. These guys are gonna be tapping me, man. Joey, all the kids here. That's supposed to happen. Now, does that mean I'm not worthy of my black belt? What makes me worthy of my black belt is that I stay at it. It's the martial way. It's the way of war. War against myself. The moment I quit fighting the war against myself is the moment that I die. And I'm a walking dead. Those of you that like zombies. Right? So be careful, guys. The responsibility first towards yourself. So you can continue to serve others. You see, I'm not saying that you're coming here to beat other people and now all the class is going to be about you, because that's the other extreme of a black belt. It really upsets Master Carlos and a lot of people in Gracie Barra. The black belt that thinks that now because he's a black belt, everybody's here to serve him. The very definition of a black belt is that he's here to serve others. That's how you play that role. But to serve others, you got to serve yourself first. You got to be in shape. You got to be continuing with your technical development, right? Now, you also have the responsibility towards Gracie Barra. You are representative of this philosophy. You're representative of this way of life. So you walk out there and you're drinking a beer with your Gracie Barra shirt or one of your gi pants, and you go to the beach and you are messing with people. What's wrong with you? Once you wear that belt, you've been recognized as a developed, as a legit representative of our clan, of our group. And you have to go out there to the world representing that philosophy. If you didn't believe that this is a way of life, you shouldn't be here. And I'm not saying that your beliefs should just be about Gracie Barra. We all have many beliefs. Religious beliefs, but political beliefs, but this is one of them. And it's a way of seeing ourselves and seeing the world around us that's constantly pushing ourselves to the next limit, right? So your responsibility towards Gracie Barra is to live upon the legacy that you inherited. And that imposes another third responsibility, which is the responsibility to serve others. The best way for you guys to stay sharp when you become a black belt is by giving back to the art. And I'm not coming here and say, oh, you have to take a formal position of a teacher and you have to go over the ICP, our certification program, which I totally recommend so you guys can learn directly from the source. I'm saying when you come here with the spirit of sharing. You know, when you put yourself in a position that you want to teach to others what you've learned, that's going to hold you accountable, because you're not going to pass forward something that doesn't work. Doesn't make any sense, right? We don't do that. That's embarrassing. So that's always going to put you there. And third and fourth, and it's a new idea that I want to throw out to you guys, but I'm constantly speaking from what I've learned, and it's going to resonate with what Professor Jim says. I believe all of you guys, they're healthy, all of you guys, and all of you guys, with no exceptions here, that are training Jiu-Jitsu should be competing. Competition is for Jiu-Jitsu what Jiu-Jitsu is for life. If you're not competing, you cannot connect to this art in the same way. And I'm not saying that you have to be like a competitor for the rest of your life. I'm saying you should use Eric Deverick's example and talk to him and see how much that experience has impacted him positively. If you guys, especially if you are struggling with motivation to stay sharp, you should be competing. at least once a year. It's only going to bring good things to your life. I'm not saying that you have to do it. I'm the head instructor here, so I'm teaching you something that I believe in. I believe that you are all missing a point if you're not going to a tournament, at least once a year. And I'm not saying that because I want to, oh, look, my student, world champion. I don't care about the results. I really don't. Not even for myself. What I care about is to make sure that we stay challenged. And professors, those of you that are getting your belts today, I hope that has allowed you to see things in perspective, because that's really what we're doing here. And for everybody else here, I hope that you could connect with at least a small piece of what I said, because I don't have an opportunity to be with you guys every single day anymore, which is something that it really hurts. But so when I come here, I really try to compensate from that just by sharing some of the ideas that are very important to me and that have shaped me into who I am. All right? Thank you, Filipão.